Sometimes it can be quite difficult to manage everything going on in your life. And you focus on the time and you focus on your schedule, and the morning, the middle of the afternoon, the end of the day, you're just done. All that planning just wasted. And I talked about this and other reasons for why we want to pay closer attention to our energy and not our time. But if you stick around, I'm going to walk you through the 4 domain energy assessment, a way for you to actually gauge where your energy is being dispersed, where your energy goes, so that you can get a good idea of why there's an imbalance. Because let's face it, without some kind of tool like this, we don't know. It's abstract, it's out there. Welcome back to another Wellness Talks. So jumping into the first topic, and this is looking at the 4 domain energy assessment. This is a tool that I use often with individuals in session. I utilize this myself. I try to run this like once a month. I especially do this if I'm feeling overwhelmed. And it's a cue. If I'm working with somebody and like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired, I don't have enough energy, I feel stressed out. And I'll be like, well, I wonder how we're playing around with the energy that we have. We want to go ahead and pay close attention to these 4 domains. Now there's 12 different domains that we could put up here, but I've actually found that these 4 are the best. As long as we can pay attention to these things, this is going to really drive us through. Love is basically your interactions, your relationships, your loved one, your children, and even colleagues, people that you're working with, friends, extended family. That's the love. And we want to make sure that we're doing something inside of there. When it comes to work, what's the projects that we're working on? What's the academics? It's the professional development. And sometimes this is going to take precedence over other things. Play. What do you do just for the sheer joy of it? Is it gardening, playing a musical instrument, watching your favorite television show? Finally, with health, this is how well you're sleeping, how well are you eating, what's your physical activity look like? So we want to make sure that we're constantly making sure that we cover this base. These 4 bases are absolutely critical. They're key. Now, another component is we've only got so much energy. And so what I'd like to do is break it down into 20% segments, because there's research that shows anything less than 20%, we're not getting a very good ROI. So it's kind of the 80-20 rule. We want to make sure that we're putting we can only break ourselves down into a certain amount. If we start to fall less, imagine 10 things at 10% are going to take you 10 days, but 5 things at 20% will take you 5 days. And what we want to do is then take that initial component, that initial slide, love, work, play, and health, and just gauge, what was yesterday like? What was the last week like? Where are my tokens falling? If there's a lot of stress at the job, you're getting pulled into the job, you're doing a lot of things at the job, then I'm going to guess that 80% of your energy is going into that. Maybe you've got a big project coming up. Maybe there's a training. Perhaps it's just because of COVID, you're having to work from home and balance and go into the office and not going to the office, and all these things that are going on. And then one token is going to taking care of your family and connecting with friends and family, catching up for that drink once a week. But you'll notice here, nothing in play, nothing in health. So we're losing the balance. This is like a bad even work-life balance. It's not even balanced that way. So we really want to pay attention to that component. A lot of times when I'm working with a lot of people who are heavily into the work domain, this is what it looks like for them. And then there's no wonder why, if we look at the bottom, the play and the health, why their health is failing, or why they're feeling like their life is relatively meaningless. They're not doing anything for fun. So what we want then is something that looks more like this. I'm taking time daily to contact somebody, to talk with my spouse, to interact with my children. I'm doing a very important component. I'm paying attention to and keeping things in place. And here's where that time management might work well. Set out very specific tasks, 3 for the day for work. Those are the big 3 I need to work on today. Play. What am I going to do to unwind? Am I going to do this in the middle of the day? Am I going to go for a quick walk? Am I going to just read a good book? Am I going to play a video game or watch a television show? How am I going to get my energy back throughout the day? And then health, keeping good diet, making sure that I get to bed on time, making sure I get up on time, making sure that I take time to get to the gym. Now, it's not uncommon that some of these will actually overlap. Perhaps if you were going to go out dancing or you're playing music, well, that would be play, but it might also be love. So you kind of getting a combination with the two. And in that case, just figure out which one is it more. Are you doing it more so because it's social, or are you doing more so because it's something that you love? So you get a quick look at here of how we can actually begin to assess just what it is that's going on, and how to actually begin to manage this domain, these domains, put these things in place. Over time, what I've actually found is just doing this alone for some of the people that I work with is enough for them to correct. They're like, oh, I'm not doing it. And so they figure out what really is important to them, and they take one and they put it off to the side. Now you'll probably notice I got one, that fifth token is sitting kind of out to the left. And there is that reserve. You can keep it there because there's going to be days where a child is sick and you need to stay home. Boom, falls up into love. There's an extra project at work. You need to do more than 3 things for the day. Boom, it moves over to that. Health. You wake up, you're feeling under the weather. Boom, it falls down into there. And you can use this as a way to begin to come up with little samples, little things that you can do throughout the day. So taking a closer look at this, perhaps over in love, the relationships, you're going to make sure that each day you're doing some type of small contact. When it comes to work, it's that simple to-do list, 3 things, maybe 6 if you're going to put that second token right over here, right into that. And then play, maybe you read before you go to bed. And health, you're going to add that 20-minute walk to the day. The thing is that we don't want to necessarily get too heavily into this. We really want to just have this as a guideline for us. Each day is going to be a little bit different, but this is at least giving us a framework so that we can be flexible. Gives us that one extra on the outside so we can bump it over to where we need. And everybody's going to be different. What I spend a lot of time, usually the second half of a session, once I've introduced this, is actually coming up with 4 small goals that I can do short term, 4 small goals that I could do midterm, like what am I going to do weekly, and then 4 goals that I can do long term. Maybe this is more of the monthly. So you can actually have 3 small sets inside of here to set out a whole month and begin to manage your energy, your attention, and your focus. All right, so that wraps up how to assess 40,000 foot view, your energy, where it's going, and why you run out of it. But now let's take this concept and really focus in on one day. So we paid attention to those 4 domains, love, work, play, and health. And in this video right here, I'm going to walk you through how to actually apply this to just one day and give you a simple tool you can keep right in your pocket to actually manage and to assess as you go through the day just how much energy events and challenges throughout the day drain or take away from your energy pools, and different activities that you might do throughout the day that give you energy back that you weren't even aware you did. This is especially useful if you're dealing with ongoing emotional pain, such as grief, or physical pain, such as dealing with chemotherapy or after a surgery. So be sure to check it out.